Hey, what's up, everybody? I was just listening to something a while ago. I was doing some work, and I want to encourage you. To continually be mindful, intentional of filling your soul with the good things of God. But this guy was sitting here teaching on Psalm 119, and I don't know, just a phrase caught my attention. He was talking about moral purity. And of course, that's kind of like the business of Christianity. Some people talk about sanctification. Some people talk about the process. Some people talk about holiness. So there's a lot of ways to look at that, right? But I'm basically talking to the person who's a believer who has, by grace, been saved. You were absolutely dead in your sin, and by the revelation that Jesus is the Son of God, you believe that, and you accepted that, and you've submitted to that, right? You've surrendered to that idea, and you believe that, and you're trying to live that. So you're saved. You're not only forgiven, but His righteousness, God's righteousness, has been put in you and on you, and that's how He sees you. Okay, now after that, there's of course, everybody's gonna say, well, you're not perfect, and this, that, and the other, and so it would seem kind of hypocritical that the church world would tell you, hey, if you're a prostitute, if you're a heroin addict, if you cheat on your taxes, if you're an adulterer, if you're this, that, and the other, just come to Jesus, He loves you. And the moment you get inside the door, of course, you kind of get this, a subconscious list of to-dos. Because of His goodness, you get to, not got to, don't get it twisted. Maintain that love of God. And it would seem kind of hypocritical if you'd stand back, zoom out, and kind of analyze that. But it's really not. Pray, Bible, fast, share the faith. We are going from glory to glory. We are going deeper in the things of God. The closer the more we abide in Him, the more we will become like Him, talk like Him. We can see very clear evidence. Let's just take Peter for an example. He wasn't per se this perfect believer as far as like after meeting Jesus, he did everything perfect. That's very clear. But at the same time, he was very much a believer of Jesus. And that makes him perfect in a sense that when he died in this fleshly body, he was going to be united with the Father. And so, yeah, in that sense, he was perfect. But he still had to go through the battle that Paul talks about against the spirit and the flesh. It's just reality. So, as this man's talking about moral purity, of course, he's saying, it doesn't happen overnight. But I remember being, a drug dealer one day, and then the next day being a son of God. And I had a heart change, and I was different. I was completely changed. I was forgiven. I was redeemed. I was pardoned by God, and not the state of Arkansas, and not the others I had offended and abused, but yes, by God's standards, I was forgiven. But nevertheless, I still grew, and am growing every single day. And that's kind of the tricky thing. It's almost like it was almost like I felt like I had more purity when I first got born again. I don't know because if it was the newness of it or the unfamiliarity of it. But then as I, of course, start walking along and getting some confidence in religion, that made me kind of feel more comfortable and loosen up in some areas, which some is okay just to know who you are and your as you know who you are in God, but some of it's not good because it's a familiarity with the sacred things of God, and it's not it's not to your benefit. You know, he says all things are lawful, but not everything's beneficial. So, but I want to just give you two basic things, and of course you can add to this. But two basic things to help in this process of this moral purity. Of course, like I say, it's not about being good, so don't twist this and make it about works. But nevertheless, as we draw closer to God, we're gonna want to please Him. I'm not talking about checking off a list of religious rules, but we're gonna want to please Him. And so, as you please Him, as you spend time, so praying, spending time with God. You know, I of course always tell whoever I'm talking to, cultivate and maintain that secret place with God, that intimacy. And if there's opportunity to pray in public, do that also. You know, in church and so forth and so on. But also reading the Bible, studying the Bible, meditating on the Bible, taking it in. Because you're not going to cheat those two things, you know. I mean, yes, you can try to substitute those two things by just going to church, and that's what we kind of do when like a quick package deal. We'll go to church, they pray, we'll pray, join in with them, and then they're going to teach the word a little bit, so we'll have our word, and so we kind of get a little package deal. Well, that's not how the relationship works. So what if you decided to cultivate and maintain your love relationship with your wife or your husband only one time a week in a public place? Yeah, there you go. So the good things you put inside of you. So it's not. So I was at this retreat center the other day with some ladies going through it's like rehab and just being discipled in God. And that was the thing that came to my heart. You know, it's not about not doing the bad things as much as it is doing the good things, the fruitful things. You know, drawing close to God, filling yourself with the good things. But there's no room for that other foolishness and your desires and your taste and your delights become in Him. Fill yourself with the good things of God because He's worthy. He's amazing, and He wants you to want Him.